The War Council had been running for 6 hours straight, and Commander Vex was ready to disintegrate something. "Explain this to me again," he said, his 3 eyes narrowing at the tactical display. One human, singular, defeated an entire strike team of 12 Carthan warriors. Lieutenant Dren shifted uncomfortably, his scales rippling with embarrassment. "Yes, Commander." The engagement lasted approximately 4 minutes. For minutes. Vex wanted to laugh, but the 17 body bags currently being loaded onto transport shuttles made the humor die in his throat. The holographic recording began to play, and every officer in the room leaned forward. The human stood inside what appeared to be a mining outpost on the contested moon of Targus Prime. Female, according to intelligence. Short dark hair, medium build, wearing nothing but standard civilian clothes and a worn leather jacket. She looked frankly bored. Thermal scans confirmed she was unarmed. Dren continued, his voice tightening. "Our team followed standard infiltration protocols. Spread formation. Overlapping fields of fire. Plasma rifles charged and ready." Vex watched as his soldiers entered the compound, moving with the precision that had won them campaigns across 3-star systems. Then the human moved. She didn't run. She didn't hide. She simply reached behind her back and pulled out 2 weapons that made Vex's blood run cold. "What in the frozen hells are those?" Captain Thorne whispered. "Revolvers," Dren said quietly. "Primitive kinetic weapons. Earth technology. At least 200 years old by their standards." The human spun both weapons forward with a casual flick of her wrists. The sharp click-click of cocked hammers echoed through the outpost. Then she smiled. "Oh, you poor, stupid bastards," she said, her voice carrying clearly over the audio feed. "You brought energy weapons to a bullet fight." The first shot came so fast Vex had to slow the playback to catch it. The human fired both revolvers simultaneously. 2 Carthan soldiers dropped before their weapons could finish charging. The thunderous boom echoed through the compound like the drums of some ancient war god. "Pause," Vex ordered. How did she know exactly where they were? "We don't know, sir. But watch this." The playback resumed. The remaining soldiers opened fire, plasma bolts scorching the air where the human had been a fraction of a second earlier. She was already moving, sliding across the floor like she was dancing, both revolvers barking death with every step. One soldier attempted to flank her. She shot him without looking. The bullet punched through his armor like paper. Another tried to retreat. She fanned the hammer on her left revolver, 3 shots in rapid succession, and he went down hard. Fanning the hammer, Dren explained unnecessarily. An old technique, holding the trigger and striking the hammer repeatedly for rapid fire. It sacrifices accuracy, but at close range. "I can see what it does," Vex snapped. The human reloaded, and Vex felt his stomach drop. She did it while running, while dodging return fire. Spent shells ejected. Fresh rounds slid into place. 6 seconds. That's all it took. "Energy weapons have a charge time," Thorne said slowly, realization dawning. "Even our fastest models need 0.3 seconds between shots. Those revolvers are mechanical," Dren finished. "No charge time. No energy signature to track. No electronic systems to jam. Just springs, hammers, and chemistry." The last 4 soldiers rushed her together, believing superior numbers would overwhelm her. The human dropped to one knee, aimed, and fired. For shots. For kills. Silence followed. She stood, smoke curling from both barrels, and looked directly into the recording drone. "Tell your bosses," she said, reloading again with infuriating calm, "that Earth didn't forget how to make war. We just got better at it." She raised the revolvers slightly. They're antiques. You should see what we use when we're actually trying." The recording ended. Vex stared at the frozen image of the human, smoke still rising from the primitive weapons in her hands, and felt something he hadn't experienced in 30 years of military service. Fear. "Who is she?" he asked. Dren pulled up a file. "Morgan Kane. Former military. Discharged 5 years ago. Current occupation, freight hauler and occasional security consultant. No criminal record. No political affiliations. Intelligence suggests she was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time." "Wrong place," Vex repeated coldly. "She killed 12 elite soldiers with museum pieces. And you think this was bad luck? Sir, what are your orders? Vex looked at the tactical map, at the dozens of human settlements scattered across contested space, and felt the weight of the decision pressing down on him. Give me everything we have on human military history, he said slowly. Everything. If their retired freight haulers fight like this, I want to know what their real soldiers can do before we make another mistake. 3 days later, Commander Vex wished he had never asked the question. The conference room was drowning in data streams, historical archives, tactical analyses, and combat footage that made the previous engagement look like a routine training drill. Major Kess, the intelligence officer, stood before the assembled commanders with hollow eyes and a posture that suggested she hadn't slept in 72 hours. Commander, she said hoarsely, we have a problem. A significant one. Show me. Vex replied, though a part of him already feared the answer. Kess activated the display. Images flooded the room. Humans in trenches. Humans storming beaches under artillery fire. Humans fighting in jungles, deserts, cities reduced to rubble, and frozen wastelands where survival itself was a daily battle. Always fighting. Always adapting. Always advancing through sheer, relentless stubbornness. This species, Kess said, her hands trembling slightly, has been at war with itself for its entire recorded history. Over 10,000 documented conflicts in the last 5,000 years alone. They have cataloged more than 265 martial arts disciplines. They write poetry about war. They create entertainment about war. Their children play games simulating war. Captain Thorne leaned forward slowly. That cannot be correct. It gets worse, Kess continued. Morgan Kane, the human who eliminated our strike team, is rated average by human military standards. Average. She served one standard tour, earned no exceptional commendations, and was discharged after a minor injury. She is not special forces. She is not elite. The room went completely silent. Their special forces, Kess said, pulling up new files, undergo training regimes that would kill most species through stress alone. Extreme sleep deprivation, environmental exposure, simulated torture, psychological conditioning. They volunteer for this, she added quietly, for the privilege of serving. Vex clenched his jaw. The Revolvers. Explain. Yes. Kess nodded. We assumed energy weapons gave us superiority, range, efficiency, firepower. But humans have refined kinetic weapons for over a millennium. Those revolvers Kane used are considered obsolete by their standards. Yet they function flawlessly. No batteries. No electronics. No energy emissions. Just mechanical certainty. She brought up weapon schematics. A standard human rifle fires projectiles at over 3 times the speed of sound. Their sniper systems remain lethal beyond 2 kilometers. Their close-quarters shotguns can breach starship hull plating. And unlike our weapons, she continued, there's function anywhere. Underwater. In vacuum. Inside electromagnetic dead zones. Dren spoke softly. What about their modern weapons? Kane implied those weren't even current technology. Kess hesitated before opening the next file. Human vessels now deploy railguns, magnetically accelerated projectiles fired at a significant fraction of light speed. No charge buildup. No detectable energy bloom. Shields are irrelevant. That's impossible, Thorne muttered, though no one believed it. We tested the theory, Kess replied flatly. 3 days ago, a human civilian freighter encountered one of our patrol cruisers near the Helix Nebula. The cruiser demanded inspection. The freighter refused. When boarding was attempted, the freighter fired once. One shot, she repeated. The cruiser is now debris. Vex stood abruptly, his legs unsteady. A civilian ship destroyed a war cruiser? They are legally required to be armed, Kess explained. Every civilian vessel. Every settlement. Their entire civilization operates under the assumption that conflict is inevitable, and they prepare accordingly. The realization hit Vex like a physical blow. Humans hadn't abandoned kinetic weapons because they were primitive. They had kept them because they worked. Recommendations? Vex asked quietly. Immediate ceasefire. Kess replied without hesitation. Open diplomatic channels. Avoid all hostile actions. And hope. Truly hope. They choose negotiation. You believe Kane intended this? Vex asked. I do, Kess said slowly. She could have fled. She could have hidden. Instead, She stood in the open and demonstrated exactly what one human, using outdated technology, could do to our best soldiers. That wasn't survival, she finished. That was a message. Vex stared at the frozen image of Morgan Kane, Revolver's steady, expression calm, confident. She had known they were watching. She had wanted them to watch. Contact High Command, Vex said at last. Reassess our entire strategic posture toward humanity, and find out how many more like her exist. Drin glanced at his datapad, color draining from his face. Sir, census data indicates approximately 18 billion humans across 230 settled worlds. And former military personnel? No one answered. Vex sank back into his chair, staring at a tactical display that suddenly felt meaningless. Billions of humans, freighters, miners, merchants, farmers, living ordinary lives. And any one of them could become Morgan Kane if pushed far enough. New standing orders, Vex said quietly. Human vessels are not to be challenged. Human settlements are off limits. We do not engage. We do not provoke. We survive. Thorn cleared his throat. What do we tell the council? Vex turned off the display. Tell them the truth, he said. Tell them we learned why humans call themselves Terran. He paused. And tell them we discovered what happens when you bring theory to a gunfight. If this story entertained or taught you something, please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us grow and bring you more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next story.